What's good, Spud here. Welcome to episode 7 of RoundUp Extra. Um, I wasn't really sure what to talk about in this episode. We're doing it on Sunday morning. We're just going to talk about the Miami versus Vegas series. I guess Super's proper debut as a permanent part now of that Miami Heretics roster. Obviously, Falcons finally won a hard point, which we're obviously going to talk about this game quite a lot in RoundUp 39, but obviously that'll be recorded on Tuesday. So I just wanted to get a few things out here about Super, really. Obviously, he was my Rookie of the Year prediction, even though he wasn't in the league. I said that if he didn't get a permanent place in the league, I would give my Rookie of the Year vote to Rencor instead. But Super's here, and he had a really good game. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're not going to look at any clips or anything. I'm just going to bring up the stats here. Obviously had a very good series. Did Super. Um, plus 24 is very good. Obviously, it's only against the Falcons, but realistically, the Falcons should have won this 3-2. I think they threw the dealership S&D. The Hacienda, control of Hacienda S&D was really well played by Miami, and the hard points were very good from Falcons. Now, let's be honest, the points are really good for Heretics here, especially with teams like Boston and Optic picking up points as well this week in that race for champs. And obviously, Boston versus Rockers on later. That is an absolute crucial game. For this champs race, especially with Boston being 1-0 and Rocker being 0-1. But yeah, it was a good series this. But yeah, I think Super definitely looks like an upgrade on Lucky. But will this Miami Heretics team? What can they show really? Because top 3 at Major 1 was very impressive, but I think it was a bit of a fluke, to be honest. I can't see them getting another top 3. I think obviously Real's good. Renko had a bit of a rough one, to be honest. Obviously, with it being a new teammate, could that potentially be a slight issue? With that going to affect how Rencor plays? Potentially it could, because obviously Lucky and Super are completely different play styles, pretty much. Uh, but yeah, it's an interesting one on this Miami Heretics roster. Do I think they'll make champs? I think it's between them, Cloud9, and I can't believe I'm saying Cloud9 because I thought Cloud9 were going to get to a championship final, either in a minor tournament or the major. Can't say that now. That was my really bold prediction for the season. My bold prediction last season was that Miami Heretics would get to a championship Sunday. They didn't do it, and then they did it in the first one of this season. um, but yeah, I'm going to be honest with this Miami team. I think it is between them, Cloud9, Rocker, and Boston for those last 2 spots. I think Optic will be okay. I think to be fair, if Boston win tonight against Rocker, Boston have got a very good chance. So I think Boston Optic is starting to move a little bit away. But yeah, I think at this moment in time, it's going to be Heretics, Rocker, Gentlemates, and Falcons that don't make champs. Obviously, my prediction before the season was Boston instead of Gentlemates, but I had the other 3. I thought Gentlemates would be the flop of the season, but I didn't realise they'd be this much of a flop. They kind of remind me of last year's Boston Breach. Um, But yeah, obviously we'll talk about those teams in the roundup on 39. This is obviously just talking about Miami Heretics and Super. So yeah, Super looked really good, by the way. I would say a Super debut in the Call of Duty League. It looks like he sits quite far back compared to all the other players, where they have like their faces, like Hugh, for example. His face is really pressed up against the webcam, whereas Super seems quite sat back. I mean, that's just his playing style. I mean, if anyone remembers Turiel from Vegas Legion MW2, obviously the MW2 absolute mastermind series against Vegas Legion at Major 3, probably my favourite series of the Call of Duty League because it was just the comeback on that first hard point was just absolutely outrageous. Um, but he played with like a cushion. So he had like a pillow or cushion on his knee, on his lap, basically. Kind of crazy. But yeah, so I think Miami play Optic next week, so I think that's kind of a proper test on see how Super does and how this Miami Heretics team works. But it's definitely looking positive for them, this change. But yeah, they have to start winning these online matches because they've actually only won 8 series all year, I'm pretty sure. But obviously because they won a couple at the major, that's kind of boosted them up a lot. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let's see what Super does next week. See you later.